Hey YouTubelets. I know it's been a long time since I put a video on, and for that I'm sorry. But I hope you all have had a great winter season so far and a lovely Christmas. I know I had. My beautiful partner came to visit me from overseas here in Canada, so that was the highlight of my winter so far, if you can't tell. What else is new? Buzzed my hair. What do you think? No? Yeah? Well, whatever, it's only hair. But tonight, I decided to do this video because we just got hit with one of the snowstorms of the century. Now, I know we got hit just after Christmas, in between New Year's. We got walloped. And especially the East Coast, Montreal and East, and the eastern U.S. seaboard as well. Same thing tonight, except I think we're getting it worse here in Toronto than we did that night in early or late December rather. And the eastern seaboard as well. The U.S. is getting walloped. So I'm going on and on. What I'm getting at is that when this kind of weather comes about, what do you think of? Being home, being warm, and eating really warm, comforting food. So that's what I'm going to show you guys tonight. This dish, if it don't warm you up from the inside, then something, you're Jack Frost, okay? It's really, really hearty. It's not for vegetarians or vegans, and there's just really no way around it. So if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, I apologize, but I don't know, go to a salad bar tonight, I guess. What we're making is called Selsko Meso, which means country meat. It's a village rustic dish, and it contains a whole bunch of good stuff. Hearty. Again, this kind of dish would have been prepared using probably not really good cuts of meat, because it's going to be stewed and cooked a long time in the oven in a clay pot. Again, with the clay pot, because they just really cook the best. So sit tight. I'm going to bring all the stuff that we're going to need to make Selsko Meso, and I'll see you in just a tick. Hey kids, welcome back. I'm here to show you all the things that we're going to need. Well, almost all. I'll get into that at the end. What we're going to need to make Selsko Meso. Before I do, I just wanted to apologize for the shoddy camera. I did get a brand new, state-of-the-art, super-duper new camera for Christmas from my brother. And I promise I will take it out of the box soon. Okay, what we're going to need. Selsko Meso. Meso in Macedonian means meat, and we have plenty of it. We have three components of meat. Our first being pork. This happens to be pork that you would use in stew. It's already cut up. The job is done. I love it. You don't need a lot. A small pack like this would suffice. What I'm going to do is go ahead and trim the excess fat off of it, just because I don't want that extra fat in my meal. This will be browned off. If you want to leave the fat on, it's up to you. Our second component is any kind of mince. I happen to be using an extra lean chicken mince for two reasons. One, for variety. Two, to keep it a little bit lighter. Traditionally, the recipe will call for a lean beef or a veal. You can use lamb, you can use beef, you can use pork, a combination. Again, it's up to you, because what these are going to be made into are meatballs. I'm not going to tell you how to make meatballs. Everyone knows how to roll a little ball from when we were a kid making snowballs. So go ahead and make your favorite meatball. Just don't do anything like a teriyaki. Not there's anything wrong with a teriyaki meatball. It just won't go with our Macedonian dish. So you're going to need mince. The third component... No, I'm not going to make you go out and buy a meat train. But what I want you to go out and buy is any kind of smoked or smoked and cured meat. It could be a smoked rib. It could be sausage. This happens to be a smoked, spicy Hungarian sausage. And they are pre-cooked. You can eat them as they are. You can use anything that's pre-cooked or raw, because it's all going to get cooked anyways. And this will just go into the dish and infuse that smoky flavor. Had I had time, I would have went to the Macedonian deli and gotten Macedonian sausage. But in a pinch, if you can't find Macedonian, go with a Hungarian, because I find it's the closest. It does come in spicy. It comes in sweet. This happens to be like a kind of like a mild spicy, if that makes sense. It's not like burn your face off spicy, but what you're really looking for is that smoke flavor, the smoked flavor. You could use smoked turkey as well. Oh, why didn't I think of that? That would have been really yummy. Next time. All right, veggies. The second star, really, of Selsko Meso is mushrooms. Now, if you don't like mushrooms, something's wrong with you. No, I'm kidding. You can substitute this maybe for eggplant. I wouldn't really go with a zucchini, but if you wanted to use zucchini, you can, but just add it in at the end so you don't want it to turn to mush. I simply have a regular 227 gram packs of mushrooms from the grocery store. I have a white mushroom and a cremini mushroom. The cremini I find just has more flavor and more robust. If you don't like cremini, if you don't like these kind, you can use button, you can use portobello, you can use shiitake. Just use some kind of mushroom if you can. Don't use the one in the can though, please. Please don't. All right. Our other veggies. What I have here are two vine ripened tomatoes. Traditionally, if you had them, use them. The recipe does say you can use them, or I know this is going to sound weird, but ketchup. And I think what they mean by ketchup is what the Macedonians would do is like a strained tomato, okay? And they would jar it in the fall, and they would have that fresh tomato flavor throughout the year. Kind of like an Italian strained tomato that you can buy in the grocery store in the jar. That would be just as good in here. You can also use a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste. I also have 2 cooking onions. And when it comes to winter, something synonymous with winter are turnips. And this is optional, but I love the flavor of turnip. It really infuses the dish with a really nice, sweet flavor. And if you don't like turnip, again, you can substitute it with potato, carrot, parsnip, any winter vegetable, root vegetable, even squash if you wanted to. Again, this is optional. You can omit it altogether. Okay? Now, we do have our spices. I have cayenne pepper. I have oregano, which will be used sparingly, and paprika here. I have vegeta, which I spoke about earlier in another video. It's a Balkan spice. You can get it here in Canada, US, Europe. It's, with parsnip and parsley and onion. It's really good, but it is salty. So if you're going to use this, really go sparingly on your sea salt or omit this altogether. And we have black pepper. Last but certainly not least, we're going to add at the very end of cooking cream cheese. This happens to be light. If you want the full fat version, be my guest, go ahead. And I know it's not Philadelphia, but you know what? The store brand was on sale and it's just as good. If you can find a Balkan cream cheese called Kaimak, go ahead and get it because it's awesome on this. It is pricey though. You're going to pay about $9 for a little tub. The other 2 things you're going to need that I don't have here, because I don't want to spill them, is a glass of wine for you to drink. Well, no. Well, if you wanted to, go ahead. You will need some wine, white or red. It doesn't really matter in this dish. If you don't want wine, you can use water. You'll also need a little bit of flour mixed with some warm water if you need to thicken this up. And again, that is optional, but it does help thicken up the dish if you want to make it a little bit thicker. So, you got it. That's all the ingredients we need for Selsko Meso. I'm going to get some rolling done. I'm going to get some browning done. And I'll meet you guys all back here in just a bit. In the meantime, have a glass of wine, call a friend. Just don't go on Facebook. See you in a bit. Ciao. Hey guys, I'm back. Between browning, chopping, sauteing, guys got to do what a guy's got to do. It's a labor of love, everyone. It doesn't take long. You're not cooking the pork completely. It is still pink in the middle, and there is some juices of blood on the bottom, which is all going to go into your dish. I have chopped up my smoky meat and just softened and sauteed my onions with a bit of garlic. Not completely limp and soft because you don't want them mushy either, because this is going into the clay pot. I use the same pan for both. Speaking of which, do not clean your pan. Well, eventually clean it. This pan is full of yummy bits of flavor. So when you're going to add your water to your clay pot or your casserole dish, whatever you're going to cook this into, put it in here. Turn the element on just a little bit. Scrape the bottom with a wooden spoon. Get all those flavors out. This is what I'm going to put my wine and my water in. The meatballs, they are rolled and they are raw. I'm going to put them in after I put everything else in and gently place them in there. Why? Because it's chicken and it's lean. Even if you're going to use lean beef, don't brown them off. They'll go too tough. Put them right in with the broth. They'll cook really good with the rest of the meat and take on the flavor. If you brown them, they're going to be too bouncy, too tough when you take them out. And not only that, browning them really, if you're going to put them in a liquid, really doesn't do anything, because they're going to lose that flavor that you brown them off in. So next time I see you, everything's going to be placed into the clay pot, and I'll be right back as soon as I can. See you soon, guys. Hey, it's a break time. I just wanted to mention, there is an easy way out. If you don't want to brown your meat, you don't want to saute the onions and scrape all that yummy bits on the pan with water, and you don't have to. You can just throw all your ingredients into your casserole dish or your clay pot, whatever you're going to use. Put it in the oven for about 35 to 45 minutes on 350. Bob's your uncle. You're all done. Hey guys, my Selsko Meso is ready to go into the oven. In here I have my turnips, I have the pork, I have the spiced meat, I have the wine, the water, the spices, and I have my meatballs, which are floating on the top. Now don't worry that they're a little bit exposed. They're just brown up in the oven. Once they set a bit, you can start stirring this around. Now you might be asking, where are the mushrooms? I'm going to wait until this cooks down a bit, because mushrooms don't take long to cook. You can add them all in at the same time. I just don't want them to be like little tiny unrecognizable pieces. So I'm going to put them in the end because they are really the second star of this meal. Pop this in the oven, 350 for about 45 minutes or so. It cooks itself. These clay pots will never let you down. Trust me. Alright guys, I'm going to put this in the oven and I'm going to keep an eye on it. If I need to add a tablespoon of flour mixed with warm water to thicken it up, I will. The mushrooms will go in and it will be done. I'll be back when it's done. See you then, guys. Hey guys, our Selsko Meso is done. As you can see, it has thickened up because I did use a couple of tablespoons of flour with the broth that was already in the clay pot. The mushrooms are still intact. We have our dry pieces of meat. There is our turnip here. There is our pork in here. Our meatballs. This smells amazing. It's so great. It's a one-pot meal. It's wonderful. Now, I do have my cream cheese here. I'm not going to put the cream cheese on top as you would if you're going to feed like a crowd or a family. I'm by myself, so I am going to serve this up to myself and put some cream cheese on there. And I have some lovely crusty bread. So guys, I hope you try this because it's really wintry, hearty. When you're feeling cold, oh, look at that pork in there and everything. When you're feeling cold, when you're feeling chilly, when the snow is coming down, this is what you need. Selsko Meso, country meat. See you in a bit. Hey kids, welcome back. Our Selsko Meso is done. As you can see, I have turnip. I have mushrooms still intact. I have this great thick gravy. I have meatballs. I have our smoked meat here and our pork pieces. This is so delicious and really hearty. It's a meal in one. I do have a salad of just simple vegetables, cucumber, tomato, onion, crusty bread as a usual, and I'm going to spoon in some cream cheese, which I'm making a mess of. There we go. You guys, you really have to try this. It's comfort food. It's winter food. Now, it's not piping as hot as it was when I took it out of the oven because I had to set it up here. But when you take it out of the oven, excuse me, it's going to be really, really hot and the cheese will melt. I'm probably going to pop this under the broiler just for like a couple of seconds. You guys enjoy this. Thank you for watching. Selsko Meso, country meat at its best.